Hello, and welcome back to Bible Talk for Kids. I am very, very excited because today we are going to be learning all about the New Testament. You might be wondering, what is the New Testament? Well, watch this video till the end to find out. Are you excited to learn more about this testament of the Bible? Well, then let's begin.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts and the letter to the Romans, 1st and 2nd Corinthians, Galatians and Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st and 2nd Timothy, Titus and Philemon, Hebrews, James, 1st and 2nd Peter, 1st, 2nd, 3rd John, Jude and Revelation.
The New Testament. So today we are going to be learning all about the New Testament. But to understand the New Testament, we must first understand what the Bible is. You probably heard the Bible being read at church, Bible study, or even being read on TV. But have you ever read the Bible for yourself? The Bible is a book filled with instructions, stories, letters, songs, and more. It was written by many different people over thousands of years. But the Bible wasn't written by people who just decided on their own that they wanted to write. Paul said in 2 Timothy, which is a book in the New Testament, all scripture is given by inspiration of God. That means that the people who wrote the Bible were not just coming up with something from their own minds, but they were instructed by God Himself on what they should write. God has given us the Bible as an instruction manual on how to make it through this life. Can you imagine going on a long journey in a place where you've never been before without having a map to guide you? If you didn't have a map, you would get lost and you wouldn't know how to find your way. The Bible is like our map, and it has instructions, rules, and commandments on how we should live to guide us all the way to heaven. The Bible has 66 books, and it is divided into two parts, the Old Testament and then the New Testament. You may be wondering, what's a testament? The word testament means covenant, and that may seem complex. But a covenant is simply an agreement, contract, or deal. The Old Testament was the first covenant or agreement that God made with us, and it contained the laws that we were supposed to follow, God's promises to His people, and more. It is called the Old Testament because it is no longer in effect. We now live by the New Testament. In the book of Hebrews, it said that God has given to us a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. The Bible said that if the first covenant was perfect, we would not need a new one. But the first covenant was not perfect, and we were unable to be perfect and holy through it. But under the new covenant that was given to us by Jesus, we are able to live perfect and holy lives, completely free from sin. So we will be able to enter into God's heaven. Wow, that sounds wonderful, doesn't it? But there is still more for us to learn about the New Testament, so let's keep going. The New Testament has 27 books, which can be divided into 4 different sections: the Gospels, the early church, epistles, and prophecy. The Gospels are the first 4 books of the New Testament: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They tell the story of Jesus, from his birth all the way to his death and resurrection. The story of the early church can be found in the 6th book of the New Testament, Acts. It tells the story of what happened to the followers of Jesus after he went back into heaven to be with the Father. The epistles are 21 books that come after the book of Acts. It includes Romans, 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st and 2nd Timothy, Titus, Philemon, Hebrews, James, 1st Peter, 2nd Peter, 1st John, 2nd John, 3rd John, and Jude. The epistles are letters, and they were written by the apostles of Jesus to correct, encourage, and to teach the church of God. The book of prophecy is Revelation. It is the 27th book of the New Testament, and it is the last book of the entire Bible. This book tells us all about what will happen leading up to and at the end of the world. It even gives us a sneak peek of what the world will be like when God makes it new and perfect, just the way it should have been from the beginning of the world. And that is a quick overview of the New Testament and its 27 books. I earlier mentioned that this book is like a roadmap for us all to follow. However, it is impossible for us to fully understand or be able to obey all the instructions written in this book without first believing, repenting, and giving our life to Jesus. Remember, I told you that God inspired the writers? Likewise, if you are not inspired by God, you will not be able to understand what is in it, because they are all mysteries that unbelievers cannot fully understand. The scriptures teach that the words in this book are spiritually discerned, and Jesus even said that the mysteries of the kingdom are for those who believe. So, if you have not accepted Jesus, please accept him today so that he can fill you with his spirit, change your life, and so that he can help you to understand his words. Now, before you go, let's answer a few questions. Question number 1. What are the two parts of the Bible? The two parts are the Old Testament and the New Testament. Question number 2. How many books are in the New Testament? There are 27 books in the New Testament. Question number 3. What is one of the books of the Gospels? If you said Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John, you are correct because those are the Gospels. Question number 4. What is the last book of the New Testament? Time's up. The answer is Revelation, the book of prophecy. It is the last book of the New Testament, and it is also the last book of the entire Bible. Okay, last question. Question number 5. What book comes after John? The correct answer is Acts. The book of Acts comes after John. It has the story of the early church. Remember? I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you are excited to keep learning more about the books of the New Testament on Bible Talk for Kids. See you next time!
Matthew, Mark,